welcome back to my channel, or if you are new here and this is the first time you have ever clicked onto one of my videos, then welcome. It's so great to have you here. My name is Sarah and I am a mum to two daughters, a 3 and a 2-year-old, and I am from Lincolnshire in the UK. I have recently had a lot of changes and a change of circumstance that has meant that I am now home a lot more. Basically, I left my career as a teacher and I am now predominantly a homemaker and stay-at-home mum. There are a lot of reasons why that has come about, but ultimately God has been working on my heart over the past year and has completely changed my heart to be one of a homemaker's heart. So as I take you through a morning in my life of cleaning and homemaking, I wanted to delve into that a bit deeper with you and how I accepted being a homemaker and offer a few tips and guidance for anyone wanting to do the same thing. So like I said, over the past year, God has been completely changing my heart, and it probably started about a year ago. I used to often feel a lot of resentment about being the main person in our home to clean and tidy and do laundry. It just felt like it was always me and I did more. And I don't think that was necessarily the case, but I just got it in my head that it was, and I felt so much resentment about it, which, as you can imagine, caused some tension in our home. My standards are very high and I do find it difficult when things aren't cleaned and tidy, which naturally happens with 2 toddlers, a dog, and a husband whose natural way of being isn't focused on being tidy, which is absolutely fine. So I knew that when I married my husband Joe, and to be fair to him, he is pretty amazing now. His tolerance for mess has really aligned with mine, and now he'll be the one to often say, "I can't cope with this mess anymore." I think that's mainly because our house has become so much cleaner and tidier and more peaceful, but I am getting ahead of myself, so let me just park that for now and go back again. So yeah, I was feeling so much resentment about being the one who was doing more. But then God started to move my heart on it, and it was slow at first, but it was definitely moving. I realised that looking after a home is a continuous thing. It never ends. It's not like you can do it and that's it, your job's done. There's always something to be done, whether it's cleaning or laundry or tidying, decluttering, cooking, putting away clothes. It's just a cycle. I started to have the thought, well, what if I just decided to enjoy these tasks and see them as doing God's work? To see them as my ministry, if you will. I'm not going to quote scripture at you because I don't really feel confident doing that yet, but I did start to pick up a lot of passages in the Bible that were leading me to this thought, the Proverbs 31 woman, if you will, and maybe I'll leave some Bible bits in the description box. But I started enjoying simple everyday tasks, particularly things like hanging the washing outside. That is one of my favourite things to do on a nice warm day. And doing the washing up, tidying the girls' toys away after a busy day of playing with them. Started seeing these things as a blessing and embracing them as something that I wanted to do. Now, don't get me wrong, this didn't happen overnight. Like I said, this was like a year in the making, and I still find things boring sometimes, and I still get frustrated when things get overly messy, but we're all a work in progress, so that is okay. At the same time that this was happening, I started to want to leave teaching and find a job where I could be home more, or better still, not really have to do a conventional job at all. I just couldn't shake the feeling that I was meant to be a homemaker and a stay-at-home mum. Like, my heart just felt so pulled towards that. And also to work for the church, but that is a story for another time. Basically, I was being pulled to being home more, and as the year went, I just embraced that more and more. That's where I felt happiest and closest to God. And as this was going on, I started to follow homemaking social media accounts on Instagram and TikTok and YouTube, and just really learning what it means to be a homemaker. And spoiler alert, you don't need anything fancy to be a homemaker. You just need a home, and you just need to tend to it and to look after it. You don't need fancy gadgets or antique furniture, which at one point I thought was like obsessed with all of these aesthetically pleasing antique, gorgeous, like American farmhouse style homes, and we just don't live in that home. But you know, you make do with what you've got. So that was the process of how my heart softened and changed towards being a homemaker. And then at the end of 2023, I was actually signed off sick for 2.5 months. And during that time, I embraced the homemaking life even more. It was something that massively helped me get better and gave me a focus each day. And also because I was home more, I had nothing else to do. And ironically, even though I was mentally very poorly during that time, I actually had some of the happiest days I've had in a long time, where I was home, homemaking, homeschooling, being with the girls. Some of those days were blissful, and during that time I developed the systems that I am using now. Now, I'm not home all the time. I will be doing maybe 2 days of work maximum a week, but one of those will mainly be from home, so I think these systems will still work. So let's start with laundry. As a family of 4 plus Rosie dog, we realistically need to do a load of laundry a day to keep up with it. Now, I'll say this here, but if you are a working mum or a mum who's out the house more, this might not work for you, and I'm definitely not saying if you don't do this then you're wrong or anything like that. I worked as a teacher, so I get that it is hard to do things after work. These are just some ideas on how your house could run more smoothly if you're struggling keeping on top of it, or if you're a homemaker as well, or maybe a mum on maternity leave. So yeah, I do a load of laundry a day except for Sundays. I do towels on Mondays, then just keep working through the wash baskets from Tuesday to Friday. Then I change and wash the bed sheets on Saturdays. I do try to wash, dry, iron and put away all in one day, but often I won't get the chance to iron, so I'll do that maybe at the weekend or later in the week during one of Amelia's nap times. And it is harder in the winter to do this when things take longer to dry, but that is what I aim for at least. Okay, the next system I have is to tidy daily, and this might seem obvious, but again, when you have 2 little darlings running around leaving toys here, there and everywhere, things can seem messy very quickly, and it can feel like there's mess in every room and that everything is in the wrong place. So I use the 1950s housewife trick to help with this. Rather than picking something up and putting it back, then picking something else up again and going to a different room and running around all over the place, I get my laundry basket, go to one room at a time, and in that room I will put back anything from that room that isn't in the right place, then pick up anything that doesn't belong there and put it in the laundry basket. Then when I go to the next room, I do exactly the same thing. Then if anything that belongs to that room from the basket, I put it back, and then I repeat the process. So basically I'm collecting things that don't belong in those rooms, putting them in the basket, and then dropping them off in the right room as I'm tidying. Doing it this way means that once you've tidied a room, it's completely done, and it gives you a sense that things are making progress. Obviously at the end, you might need to go back to some of the rooms you've tidied if you've collected anything that belongs in those rooms, but I just find this system works so well and makes tidying so much quicker and less stressful. And you can also get your children involved and make it a fun game of collecting things that don't belong to put in the basket. Now, I don't do this for every clean if it's not that messy, but this is a good trick for when your house feels really, really messy and every room just feels like a disaster. This is a good way of doing it. Or it's a good way of resetting if things have got a bit out of control. I have 2 more things that I want to talk about, and the first one is the benefits of decluttering your home. I spent most of last year slowly decluttering our home, decluttering areas that had built up that were causing me stress, and also in the process of decluttering, I created systems for areas of the house that needed a system, whether that be where we keep the laundry or where I keep my journals or anything like that. I just created systems in place because it really makes it so much easier if you have a system or if you have a place for everything in your home. And while I was decluttering, anything that didn't have a place was something that I decluttered, or if it was something new to the home, then I found a place for it and made sure that it fit in with the rest of our home. This also helped with our spending as well, because I didn't want to declutter to reclutter. I wanted to keep it clutter free. Now, I am actually doing a January challenge this year where I am decluttering for a maximum of 15 minutes every day in January. I've chosen 31 small areas of our home, like a cupboard or a drawer under the stairs, just simple areas that I can easily get decluttered in 15 minutes. and I am doing it. I'm doing a challenge, I'm posting it over on TikTok, and so far it's been really cathartic and beneficial and not at all overwhelming, because 15 minutes isn't that long when you think about it, and most of the time it hasn't even taken me 15 minutes. I will at some point do a longer video about decluttering, because, not to toot my own trumpet, but I think I'm pretty good at decluttering and I'm very good at keeping things clutter free, so I'll share all about that at some point, maybe in February or March. Let me know if that is something you'd be interested in. And the final thing I want to say is that as a homemaker, it is important that you remember to take breaks, because I could keep going all day, but then I get burnt out, and that has happened so many times in the past where I have ignored things that need doing in the home because I felt resentful about it, that vicious cycle, and then because of that I've done it all in one day, got completely burnt out, and then not wanted to do anything else for the rest of the week or even for weeks on end after that, and that's just not a great place to be. Little and often is the best way with homemaking, and like I said at the beginning of the video, to have that mindset that it's a constant job, but nothing is urgent. I mean, there are going to be things that are more urgent at times, but overall nothing is urgent. As long as you just keep working away at it, then your home will become a place that you love. And for me this is important because there are lots of things in our home that actually need fixing, need redecorating. We've only done a few rooms. We've done our bathroom, we've done our living room, the girls' bedrooms, but none of the carpets have been done. The only floor that has been changed is the downstairs hallway and the upstairs bathroom. So all of our floors need doing, so much needs painting, but we can't afford to do that right now. So instead, I am choosing to love our home for what it is and just take care of it as it is right now, and then we can work towards saving to do those things in the future. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. I certainly enjoyed filming it and doing the voiceover for it. If you did enjoy it, then please consider hitting that subscribe button and leaving a friendly comment. I love chatting with you guys in the comments, and let me know if you'd like to see more of these types of videos in the future. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye!